Hi class, welcome to Info 3201 Human-Computer Interaction. I hope everybody had a wonderful semester break and I'd like to welcome you back to class. So before we begin, just a few housekeeping items. I like to go into Web Campus right now, so I'm just going to close out of there. And in Web Campus, you always go into your, first of all, your announcements will show you the Zoom meeting link for the class, the actual class that we're having. So the classes are on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It starts at 10:30. So the Zoom meetings will be only about 15 minutes to 30 minutes perhaps, and depending on how much we have to cover for that day. But the Zoom meetings only cover sort of it's the brief overview of what we're doing for that class. Okay, so after that, you will be going to your course documents and there'll be a folder set up there for that class in particular. So today is class 1. So you'll be going into class 1 and always look at the to-do list first, and that will give you direction on what you need to do. So today we're going to watch the intro video, which is this video. You are going to complete the required reading. So the required reading is the assigned reading here, and then I have some readings for activity 1, and then I have HCI PowerPoint video. So here we have watch PowerPoint video. That's the third thing to do, and then after that we are going to begin class activity. So we have a class activity after all your reading material today. Okay, so the to-do list will change from class to class, but that is what we're doing today. All right, so I just wanted to talk about the class activity here. So in your class, for your class activity, you are already divided up into groups. Okay, so if you go into groups, you have to go into your, here, I'm going to go into the student preview. So I'm not sure if I will be able to see what you see. So if you go into groups here, and then you should be able to see your group. Okay, so I don't have a group because I'm an instructor. So I'm not able to see that, but you should be able to see it when you go into groups. Okay, so for your group, in your groups are actually created randomly. Okay, so there are 4 students in each group, and I have selected 1 student in each group to act as a representative for the group. So this student was chosen at random. Okay, so if you go to the very bottom, each group, depending on what group you're in, you should be able to see the group number you're in. Each group, I have assigned a group rep. Okay, so that group rep has particular responsibility. So the group rep is responsible for communicating with me, the instructor, and with each member of the group. So the group rep is like a group leader to organize the group, give the group direction, and communicate with me on behalf of the group. Okay, so you have to, if you're the group rep, you have to organize the group, you have to submit a list of student names and responsibilities for the instructor. So you have to let me know what each student in your group is going to be working on. You have to report missing or non-participants to me as well. So if someone is absent this class and you're not able to get a hold of them through email or anything this week, then you need to let me know. That group rep is also responsible for project management, so organizing the timeline for the group. So you have a group activity this week and the group rep has to organize that for the group. And finally, after the group work is done, the group rep has to post the presentation on the Web Campus discussion board. So that would be here. If you go to your discussions, I have a forum here, week 1 presentations for you to post your presentation on. Okay. All right, so there's 4 students total. So the other two other students will be responsible for researching information on the topic that the group is assigned and keeping track of the internet sources that are used, because you will have to cite them. You have to tell me where you got your information from, the sources that you got it from online. Next, the presentation is one student needs to put together the information gathered by the research students, create a multimedia format that can be presented to the class, and this presentation must be about 3 to 5 minutes long. So here are some ideas. You can have a recorded PowerPoint presentation, such as the presentation that I created for this class, the HCI definition one, this one here. Okay, so you can take a look at that one and create it. Or you can just do a video presentation if you would prefer. Just use your webcam and record yourself. If you have other material that you'd like to display as you're recording it, that's fine. If you have other ideas for presentation, please let me know, okay? As long as there is a visual and audio presentation, it should be okay, but you still need to run it by me. So you can get in touch with me directly or go through your group rep to speak with me. Now, each group is assigned an activity topic. So the first one is define human-computer interaction. The second one is history of human-computer interface. The third one is past and present predictions of technology of HCI. The fourth one is on the multidisciplinary background. And the fifth one is on the future of HCI. Okay. For each topic, there are 2 groups that are assigned. These 2 groups do not need to work together. Each group works on their own. Okay, so group 1 and 6 is for the first topic. Group 2 and 7 is for the second topic. Group 3 and 8 is for the third topic. Group 4 and 9 is for the fourth topic. And group 5 and 10 is for the fifth topic. All right, so I'm just going to check how much time I have. So, okay. So I have a little bit of time left here, so I'm going to talk about each topic. So for the first topic, you are going to define human-computer interaction. So that would have to do with the PowerPoint that I have posted here. You can watch that PowerPoint and also research and find 3 other definitions online. Make sure that you cite sources. What do they all have in common and how are they different? And come up with your own definition from your understanding of what human-computer interface design is. You can talk about latest trends. Just keep in mind that it has to be about 5 minutes long, okay? So you can come up with your own definition in your own words from what you understand in kind of plain language, okay? Number 2 topic is the history of human-computer interface design. So start all the way back from the 1950s. Explain to the class how HCI has evolved over the past 6 or 7 decades, and what the main artifacts of each era was. So artifact is, a tangible item that will represent, what technology was during that period. So you can, if you start from the 50s, maybe you can think of the big mainframe computers. You can think of, as time passes by, you can think of things like mouse or keyboards, floppy disks, things like that. And what are the artifacts, that are present now. So research and include some images that represent these different eras in your presentation. So we just want to see an evolution of technology to do with HCI over the past 6 or 7 decades. Okay. Number 3 is to show past and present predictions of technology. These are for groups 3 and 8. So think about, this is a fun one. Think about 2 sci-fi movies that were made in the past. So maybe something from the 80s or the 90s, which predict what the future is today and was going to be like. So maybe something that was made in the 80s that predicted what the year 2020 was going to be like. Or somewhere around there, and then find examples of artifacts that were in those movies that are no longer relevant today. So one that I always think of is, movies that were made in the 80s or 90s always had the phone booth, but that is definitely not relevant anymore today. Okay, so can you think of other artifacts that were in those movies that are supposed to be futuristic but no longer relevant? Next, I'd like you to think about 2 sci-fi movies that depict some time in the future from now. And what artifacts do you think will no longer exist then or will not exist in the way that's depicted in the movie? Okay, so perhaps, movies that project into the future from now always show, maybe phones will not be relevant anymore in, let's say, 50 years or even 20 years from now. How do you think that would have evolved? What do you think people will have then instead? Okay. So have fun with that one, groups 3 and 8. Next, it's has to do with the multidisciplinary background for groups 4 and 9.